Hello. I want to start today's video by taking you back in time 35 or 36 years. It's 1985. We are at the small department store in our small hometown. Mom and Dad have gone in to do some shopping, and they left 5-year-old me out in the lobby with 10-year-old brother of mine. We both have 2 or 3 quarters that Dad has given us, which makes us feel like we are kings. I noticed that there is a new arcade game to me, old in the scheme of things, called Galaga. I plop a quarter in and I hit start. I start to move my little ship at the bottom of the screen, left and right, hitting the fire button as quick as my 5-year-old fingers will allow, making little pixelated alien ships blow up into little pixelated alien explosions. From that point forward, I am addicted. I am a shoot 'em up fan. Fast forward a couple of years, my brother and I finally saved up enough money for the Nintendo Entertainment System. We get Mario and Duck Hunt, which comes with the system. Then we buy Contra. After that, we buy a game called Tiger Haley. I cannot stress how many hours 7-year-old me put into playing Tiger Haley. At 7 years old, I was able to 1cc that game after many, many months of playing it, which was quite the feat for a 7-year-old. 42-year-old me could not do that today. Shoot 'em ups have come a long way since Tiger Haley. We had a golden age of shoot 'em ups around the 16-bit era. I was a Super Nintendo kid, so my favorite shoot 'em up games of the 16-bit era were Axel A and UN Squadron. I literally think I wore out a couple of Super Nintendo controllers playing those two games, especially Axel A. Always had a special place in my heart for that game. Really breaks my heart that we never got a sequel to it, being that it's probably my favorite shoot 'em up on the Super Nintendo. After the Super Nintendo era, after the 16-bit era, we run into a time when there was lots of change. 32-bit systems that came in, 3D graphics were all the rage. Shoot 'em ups went the way of the buffalo, and we ended up more with games like Tomb Raider, more games like Tekken, 3D fighters, things like that. Shoot 'em ups became old hat. No one wanted to make shoot 'em ups. Well, almost no one. You did have companies like Treasure that were putting out games like Radiant Silvergun, and as you can see in the background, Ikaruga in the late 90s. Shoot 'em ups never truly died, but they definitely went underground. Now, with the modern retro renaissance that we have seen a bit of a renaissance of shoot 'em up games. Today, the purpose of my video is to illustrate some shoot 'em up games that I think you need to play if you are a fan of modern. These are maybe not the best shoot 'em ups on modern consoles, the best shoot 'em ups released in the last 5 or 6 years. These are all games that I actually own. There's going to be no me recommending a game that I've never played. I can promise you that. I'll promise you that all these games are enjoyable. I promise you that if you like modern retro games, you're going to get entertainment out of these games. You're going to feel like you get your money's worth. With the exception of Darius, all of these games can be bought on sale for less than $10. The majority of them can be found on sale for less than $5 if you're patient. I was able to get Darius off of Amazon. I caught it on sale for, I believe, $16.99, maybe $17.99, with shipping the next day. So these games will not break the bank, but these games will definitely scratch that itch for retro gaming without having to drop $200 or $300 on a retro shooter from the 8 or 16-bit era. My first game on the list is Danmaku Unlimited 3, which I downloaded for the Nintendo Switch. It's actually the first shmup I downloaded after I got my Switch. This game is everything that personifies a Japanese bullet hell. I love the graphics. It's not overly detailed. Really, the stages all look pretty much the same. The enemies all look pretty much the same. The point of the game is not really enemy variety. It's all about recognizing the bullet patterns and memorizing where you need to be and where you do not need to be, trying to get that high score, trying to beat that high score that you got last time. The soundtrack was done by a Japanese indie band, and it is fantastic. Wish I had it on CD so I could listen to it in my car as I drive to and from work and places like that. As you can see in the video, it's once again your traditional bullet hell with huge weapons, huge laser beams. You have two primary shots, your wider shot, or you can focus your shot, which also slows down your ship, which when it gets really hectic on the screen actually makes dodging the bullets so much easier. As you can see on the screen, when you blow up ships, their bullets will turn blue. When the bullets turn blue, you are safe to touch them. It actually builds up your super meter gauge, and once that unlocks, as you can see on the screen right there,
in a second we'll get you one.
it starts to drop gold coins, which adds to your score, adds to your combo, and it's the whole point of the game. Can't say enough about this game. You can find it on the eShop on sale for $5 or less a lot of the time. I recommend that if you've not played it, that you give it a try. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. It is a wonderful game. The next game I want to talk about is Darius HD. The Darius series has been going on since 1987. It's a Taito game. There have been many games in the series, arcade games, some known for being 2 or 3 screens wide in the arcade, which makes translating them to the home console a little bit difficult. You get an extreme letterbox feel from several Darius games. This is not one of them. It's actually the first Darius game to be in 3D, even though the game is still a traditional horizontal 2D scrolling shoot 'em up game. The main hook of this game are 2 things. One is the capture ball, which you can send out, which captures enemies. Enemies can either become drones that will fly around and shoot with you, or they can become shields. You can also use the enemies, absorb them to shoot out a super beam, is what I would call it. With boss battles, they have the equivalent to that, and it's called beam dueling. And when you beam duel with the boss, you just have to hit the button as quick as you can. Try to be quicker than the boss to overwhelm them. Just make your beam more powerful than theirs and win that battle of attrition. Love the graphics on this game. The Switch version, which is what I was playing, you can actually play it in the original 3D, or you can play it as the upgraded HD remaster. Both have their merits. I have to say I do prefer the 1080p graphics. Just gives it that modern feel, even though it is definitely a retro game, as you can see in the background. Love the boss fights in this game. Getting to fight a 1,000-foot long barracuda robot thing. Who doesn't like that? I mean, that sounds like a fun time for me. The other thing that the Darius games are known for is branching paths. You can come to points in each stage where you can branch one way or the other, and also at the end of the stage you are given the option of picking one of two routes. There are 15 total stages, I believe, in the game, and any playthrough will be 5 stages, depending on which route you have taken, which does lead to a lot of replay value, even though shoot 'em up games are known for being short. You can usually beat most shoot 'em ups in 45 minutes to an hour. Does add replay value to the game, which is appreciated. Next up, we have Skyforce Anniversary, also for the Switch. Skyforce is about as typical a vertical shoot 'em up as you could ever ask for. It plays very reminiscent to the 1942-1943 series by Capcom. You got your normal power-ups, fight to the end, and have a big boss battle. Nothing really special necessarily about the gameplay loop of it, except for it introduces RPG elements. You will play the same stage over and over again, upgrading your ship over and over again to get more powerful bombs, more powerful weapons, that type of thing. You do this by earning experience points for completing objectives. Sometimes the objective will be to rescue all of the people on the stage. Sometimes it will be to collect a certain number of stars. Sometimes it will be to blow up X number of ships. That's really where the gameplay hook of the game comes from, and it is so addictive. I know that a second ago I said that it was very basic. Looking at the game, you can see that it is absolutely beautiful, though. Colors really pop. It is vibrant. Even if the characters, the ships that you have to blow up seem a little bit generic, they sure do have a beautiful look to them. Can't say enough good things about the gameplay loop with the RPG elements. It's hard to put into words, but trust me, if you give it a try, you will get addicted to this game if you like horizontal or vertical shoot 'em up games. I promise. The next game on my list really needs no introduction. It's R-Type Dimensions EX. Once again for the Switch. R-Type is pretty much the quintessential horizontal shoot 'em up game. That first stage for R-Type, it has become iconic. Most gamers of my age, as soon as they see it, they know exactly what it is. R-Type Dimensions EX took the old graphics and scrubbed them, completely rehauled them, completely redid them, and as you can see on the screen, the results are beautiful. Strange thing is, the original graphics, which you can switch to on the fly with the press of a button, they still are beautiful also. There is not a wrong way to play this game. As you can see, you have the ball, as I called it. I've always called it the ball, that follows you around. You can either attach it to the front or the back of your ship, with differing results depending on where you have it and what type of weapon you have, what the upgrade is. R-Type is one of those games where there's times when you actually will not pick up the power-up because you do not want it for that stage. There is some strategy to that, and strategy is needed for R-Type games because they are tough as nails, no doubt about it. I played this game for probably 2 weeks straight to be able to beat it again. I hadn't beat it in 20 years whenever I downloaded it for my Switch, and I realized quickly how rusty I was, and I realized quickly how NES hard this game was. If you've never played R-Type, It's a wonderful place to start if you are able to stick with a game that is difficult. I cannot reiterate enough how difficult R-Type is. It will make you want to throw your controller, but it will give you that itch to go back one more time and to just memorize those enemy patterns, learn which weapon I need to use to beat which boss. There's so much strategy that goes into it, so much muscle memory that goes into it. Download it today. Once again, you can find it on the eShop on sale for less than $10, probably sometimes less than $5. Last but definitely not least on my list is Marino EX for the PlayStation 4. This game is different than most horizontal shooters for a couple of reasons. One, it actually has a really good story. Shmups are not known for their stories. Most shoot 'em ups, the stories throw away. You really play the game to blow up ships and get high scores. With this game, you actually get invested in the characters, even though they're anthropomorphic animals. The other hook of the game is the time control mechanic. You do not have a life bar on this game. You actually, when you get hit, lose time on your counter that's counting down. You can gain time back. The other thing is you can slow down time with the press of a button, which really helps with some of the bullet hell scenarios in the game to avoid when you've got enemy bullets coming at you left, right, up and down all at the same time. The bosses in the game are multi-tiered. You have to blow up one section of the boss, then you'll swing around, go to another part of the boss to fight again until you finally, like chopping down a tree, chop down the boss. I cannot say enough good things about this game. It is by far my favorite modern retro shooter that is currently out there that I have played. If you want to play a game that is well crafted, has a wonderful story, wonderful graphics, just wonderful gameplay, I can't say enough good things about this game. It is my top recommendation of this video. I hope you enjoyed my first dive into modern retro gaming. This is my first video on the channel talking about video games outside of my short introduction video that I did a couple of days ago. Hopefully, I will be able to entertain a group of people similar to me, people who loved and grew up on retro gaming, the 8-bit and 16-bit systems, going into 32-bit systems. Hopefully you found this video enjoyable. Maybe I told you about a game that you had never heard of before. Maybe you saw something here that will inspire you to restart your love for retro gaming with the modern retro aesthetic. If you like what you saw, I guess the thing that you do is you hit the like and share button and you subscribe. It's not really my purpose in this channel to get likes and subscribes. It's just to share my love of modern retro video games. If you like this video, if you have other videos that you would like to see, other genres of modern retro games that you'd like to see me do videos on, I would love to hear your suggestions in the comments. Until then, I'm Cam, signing out.